Hey everyone, welcome back to more Reddit stories about entitled people, crazy people, and anything else we find interesting. As usual, we got some more Reddit posts to check out today, so feel free to share your thoughts about today's stories down in the comments and we're getting right into it. Boss wants everyone in the office to submit an updated medical history. To him. So first of all, a bit misleading title as the person in this situation is not me, but my friend. To get to the main issue though, one of my friend's coworkers passed away while at work last month. It was apparently a massive heart attack. He was under 50, so it shocked everyone. More so that it happened literally at his desk in the middle of a shared open plan office. While at the wake, my friend's and the deceased's direct boss was talking to some family members, and he informally learned that the coworker who died had some existing high blood pressure and other health problems that he had been neglecting to treat. Relatives apparently think he would not have died had he been more vigilant with his health. A moot point and certainly none of his boss or coworker's business. Boss has taken the situation pretty hard. I gather he was extremely freaked out on the day of the incident, and the information that the coworker had a pre-existing medical condition that could have potentially predicted what would happen seems to have sparked an idea in his head. On Friday, he announced to the office as a whole, all 20-ish of his direct reports, part of a larger company of 250 to 300 people, that he is giving them until May 1st, specifically after tax season, because he thinks he is being nice and unnecessarily accommodating of people's time, to provide him personally, not HR, not higher execs, just him, an updated copy of your full medical history. According to him, this means a visit with a PCP/GP no less than 6 months prior to the due date, and fully accounting by the doctor for all at-risk health factors, and a full further accounting of all risk factors in your full medical history. These are direct quotes. He gave everyone a memo. The wording in the memo is pretty basic directions and poorly thought out legalese, some of it almost stream of consciousness in style. He is in the habit of dictating to his assistant and gets pretty uptight about her recording exactly what he said, and not rewording things to make more sense when he is vague or grammatically confusing, even with his important correspondence. He is claiming this policy will allow him to prevent further, quote, trauma-inducing incidents. You know, like a coworker dying very suddenly at his desk a few feet away from you. And honestly seems to be of the opinion that this will protect the company from legal harassment, in case anyone wants to sue for the trauma of witnessing a death in the workplace. I guess the idea is that if he knows a coworker is likely to die suddenly, he can fire them first to prevent anything falling back on him/the company. It doesn't seem to make much sense on the surface, and I can't guess if this is truly his real motivation. Also, as if a medical history works in a way as to accurately predict sudden deaths of that type. He is clearly not rational on this plan. Honestly, to me it sounds like he was freaked out by witnessing the incident himself, and when the thought crossed his mind to sue the company for his own trauma, it eventually turned into an idea to play it as if he is a good policymaker, trying to protect the company from legal trouble, from people like himself. Apparently, he's been angling for a promotion for years, and has in the past already come up with some pretty harebrained schemes to suck up to his own bosses. Anyway, my friend is pretty level-headed, and her immediate instinct is to go to HR on Monday and let them know what's going on, but the way she presented the story to me gave me pause. She described it casually over drinks last night in a manner like, listen to this completely illegal thing my boss is trying to do. And that brings us to the update, which was posted about 3 weeks later. Just got off the phone with my friend a few minutes ago and it is official. Boss is now ex-boss. My friend did in fact go to HR as she was planning and laid out the situation for them. They seemed concerned and assured her that they would look into it, and then she heard no more of it for about a week. Ex-boss was also suspiciously quiet about the policy during that time period, until last Monday he was not in the office. There was no explanation given to the office at large, but my friend spoke to his assistant, and from the information she got from her pieced together that he was in some long important meetings with corporate HR, and that he would then be taking the rest of the week on personal leave. Well, the weekend passed and he didn't return. The office was in limbo for the beginning of this week, but today someone came down from corporate and announced that ex-boss was officially no longer working for the company, and that new corporate guy would be serving as their temporary supervisor until a new one was hired. Obviously, everything largely went on behind the scenes, but since my friend was the one to blow the whistle to her friend in HR, yes, I did see the comments on the previous thread about how HR is never your friend, lol. She managed to get a couple details at lunch, the way it all went down. Apparently, corporate was initially quickly and heavily concerned about ex-boss's scheming, because he does have a history of dumb ideas that blew up in his or someone else's face. He had in the past always managed to take the heat off himself by throwing someone else under the bus. When local HR came to tell him that this new policy was officially bug stupid and would cause him and the company far more liability than he could possibly save them from, he threw a temper tantrum and insisted that the higher execs would understand what a good idea it was. The meetings with corporate were initially them trying to talk him down and explain why he was wrong. He resisted this strongly and turned them into seminars on why he was actually right. Eventually a VP got involved and it was over. Ex-boss was not technically fired, but he was strongly encouraged to submit his resignation, and he will not be getting any reference other than a confirmation that he did in fact work there. My friend hasn't personally heard anything from the guy since he suddenly disappeared from the office. If he's contacted any of her coworkers, they didn't share it with her. She's pretty excited to see the last of him and is hoping her new boss will be less of a moron. Apparently, one of her longtime coworkers that has always been a bit of a mentor figure to her is being considered for promotion internally instead of them hiring someone new as a supervisor. So my friend might even materially benefit from this fiasco. Entitled Psycho demands a discount on her cheesecake and vandalizes the store my husband works at. Okay, so my husband works at a little grocery store on the outskirts of town. All the employees are really tight-knit and do not take no crap. Now that I've set the scene, let me get into the actual story. My husband is working the register and this middle-aged woman walks in and marches straight to the pastry aisle like she's on a damn mission. She gets to looking around and all of a sudden she's stomping her feet and huffing and puffing, and just really causing a scene. She picks up a cheesecake, stomps over to the register, and slams it down so hard it literally almost pops open. Excuse me, this was just on sale last week, and now it's $11? I refuse to pay that. My husband says, okay, nobody's forcing you to. The lady, rolling her eyes and making a disgusted face, says, no shit, nobody's gonna make me do anything. What I'm trying to say is this was just on sale last week. If you guys were going to end the sale so soon, there should have been some kind of sign saying that. Excuse me, ma'am, I don't know where you're used to shopping at, but that's not a requirement. And I'm going to need you to lower your voice because there are customers here and you're causing a very unnecessary scene. The lady, giving him a death glare, says, who the hell do you think you are? Where is your manager? The manager literally walks up at that very moment. He says, the cheesecake is $11, ma'am. You can either pay it or leave. The choice is yours. I'm not going anywhere until I get what was promised to me. This was on sale last week. There was no sign saying the sale was about to end. You owe me a discount. The manager says, I don't owe you a damn thing. You can leave my store or I'm calling the police. We've asked you to lower your voice, and you're standing here causing a scene. Meanwhile, my husband is already calling the police because the lady is literally up in the manager's face. He said they argued back and forth for another 2 or 3 minutes, but he couldn't hear what they were saying because he was on the phone with dispatch. He walks up after dispatch tells him that the police should be pulling up any time and lets the lady know that the police are getting ready to be there and she needs to leave. Mind you, this is already about the 5th time she's been told to leave. So she stomps off huffing and puffing and says, I'll show you a goddamn scene. She throws the cheesecake on the floor. The lid pops off and it splatters everywhere. Then as she's walking out, she swiped a bunch of crap off the shelves with her arms. She made it to the parking lot when the police pulled up. She was still screaming, mad as hell over that damn cheesecake. They arrested her and charged her with, if I'm not mistaken, disorderly conduct for screaming and yelling and acting like an idiot, trespassing because she was asked to leave several times and she refused, and criminal mischief and vandalism for knocking all the stuff off the shelves and throwing the cheesecake. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. My neighbor keeps stealing my packages and pretending it's the delivery driver's fault. So my neighbor has mysteriously received 4 of my packages in the last 2 months. Each time she claims they were accidentally dropped off at her place, but like it's the same driver every time and our numbers are literally labeled. The kicker? She always, quote, opens them to check if it's hers. Ma'am, you really thought you ordered a pink Hello Kitty blender and fuzzy socks with my name and address on it? Last week I got a notification that my skincare package was delivered, but it wasn't at my door. I waited 20 minutes, then walked next door. She opens the door wearing the under-eye patches I ordered. I didn't even say anything. I just stared at her until she peeled them off. She said, oh, I thought they were a free sample. I'm installing a camera. Not even for evidence. I just want to see how far she'll go next. Close your curtains so I don't have a view into your home. We moved into a new build a few months ago. We just received a mailed letter from a house that is behind ours. Note that there is a wash and a road between us. I shall type it word for word. Dear neighbor, congratulations on your new home. I live across the way from you in Sunflower. Although our homes are not very close to each other, I can see directly into your home from my living room and backyard. I can clearly see you as you walk around your kitchen and even when you get things from your refrigerator. While I am happy for new neighbors, I would prefer not to have a view into your home when I am in my living room and backyard. For your privacy, you may want to consider some blinds or curtains. I hope you enjoy your new home and neighborhood. Your neighbor, Carol. So let me get this right. We have to close our curtains so you can have yours open? You've been watching us in our house like a creep? F you, Carol. My curtains will be open, and I think some naked dancing in the kitchen is required. Yeah, this is such a one-sided way of thinking where the person isn't even capable of considering it from the other person's perspective. Imagine actually thinking that your neighbor is inconsiderate for having a window and not keeping their blinds drawn all the time, because you have to see into that window through your open window as well. Yep, totally makes sense. And apparently the thought didn't even cross her mind that it works both ways, and even take it as far as to mail OP a letter over this. Oh yeah, OP did also say, editing to add. Google tells me her window to mine is around 210 feet. Alright everyone, that's going to be all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more Reddit content like this. So I'm out of here, stay tuned for more and I'll see you next time.